So I wanted to bring in Dr. Phil because you guys, I can sit here and tell you about how, a different product has changed my life or my hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients. But I think sometimes it's kind of cool to hear the science behind it.
So for those of you who don't know, I was a Marine in a former life, fighter pilot, and I had really bad back injuries. So I was in, here in the United States, we want to use our compliant terms, a lot of discomfort. There's a lot of hurting, a lot of aching, a lot of stiffness going on in my body. I was in rough shape. And when this came around and was introduced to me, I jumped in. I said, all right, I was desperate. I was desperate for some answers, took it religiously in the first 3 months, started to see dramatic changes with my discomfort lessening, with my stiffness lessening, where I had been doing injections. I had done corticosteroids. I had everything short of surgery that you could do medically. Pain relievers, naproxen, ibuprofen, prescription strength. These are prescription strength. We're not talking stuff you get off the shelf. And they were tearing up my gut. And I was having depression issues at the time because of the medication, side effects, things like that. So this turned it around. And it was a big rudder with a lot of momentum going down the wrong way to turn the ship around, but it did. And I'm grateful. And it's why it's so easy to share this with passion. And by the way, you're going to want to hear some of the stuff that we're going to have to share here, because there is some things, when it comes to these ingredients, they're not all equal. And we're going to tell you about the extra wow factor coming in with this that you don't get from all others here in a second. But that's why these things work. It's the right size, it's absorbed, and it makes a difference in many areas of the body, skin, joints, equally.
What's one of your best client stories that you?
I got so many, and Judy, that was great. Seeing your information. Thanks, you guys, for sharing that. I'll throw my mom in there. My mom was a tennis pro, retired, and she had multiple injuries: shoulders, rotator cuffs, knees. She was a pro. She was ranked #1 in Minnesota many years, and then she had a national ranking. But with all the playing and injuries, she's in her 80s now, 82, and plays pickleball competitively and wins with doubles partners in their 60s and 50s. So it's just a testimony. If you have something that works, if you have something that is scientifically proven to make a difference, there's a big problem out there. The problem is we have this not good solutions as we decline in this area with our joint health. And by the way, why not make ourselves or have ourselves look as good as possible for as long as possible? So
I love it. I love it.
You guys, the truth is today, people want, they want multifaceted, multi-purpose types of ingredients that can help solve many problems. People get excited about that because you get multi-benefits as a result. And what we have here again is we have a matrix molecule. What does that mean? It means it's a whole bunch of stuff. It's not just one thing. And that's what you get with a lot of other products. They're very isolated. They might mix in other things and other sources. Today, the word we're going to talk about, because it's a really long word, we're just going to use the abbreviated version, GAGs, just like GAG, but GAG, all capital with apostrophe S, which stands for glycosaminoglycans. It's the family of protein. Well, they're polysaccharides, really. They're sugars. They don't affect your body as like a sugar, but they're complex polysaccharides that really work with the collagen and do more. So this is why you get the extra boost. And all of these substances, sometimes they're termed ground substances. You might hear that term too. But these GAGs, what are they? It's keratins. And write that down. Write GAGs in there if you've heard it. If you haven't, drop it in the comments. But that's things like keratins, heparins, dermatins. Those that got derm in it, right? The root word for skin. Chondroitin is another type. Hyaluronic acid, that's another big one. We've all heard of that, right? That's one of the big ones in there. And the problem is when people take some of these other sources of GAGs from poorly sourced products, you can really have some adverse reactions when you get them from like shellfish. Shellfish, that's the trouble with shellfish sourced, is a lot of times they have these other compounds in their tissues that can trigger like allergic-like reactions. That's the challenge. So I'm particular about source. I know Jen is too. We talk about that. Getting source is important, getting the best source so you can avoid those types of adverse reactions. But we want to talk about these things really quickly, like keratins. That's like our scaffolding. And this is all extra stuff. It's all extra things that are in there in addition to the collagen. It's not the collagen. You don't just get it when you have these different types. Like Jen and I have talked about, oh, type 1, type 2, type 5, type 7, all these different types. Really, type 1, 2, and 3 are the most important because that's 90% of your body's collagen network. That's 90% of you are those main 3 types. You want to have something that doesn't just have those things, but is proven to elevate. Proven to elevate. That's a different claim, you guys, as opposed to just having. How many products have different collagen types, right? There's a gazillion products out there with like 8 or 9 different types of collagen. Proven to elevate, whole different category. If you can say that, that's something very powerful. And you get all this extra stuff in there that you talk about, the keratins, that's 99% of your hair. It's in all these surrounding tissues. It surrounds the collagen. So you're not just absorbing the collagen and benefiting, but you're getting these other things. Hyaluronic acid. How many of you guys have heard of that? Okay, HA for short. That's a water-loving molecule we call hydrophilic. It holds up to 1,000 times its own weight in water. So that's what firms, fills, hydrates, and plumps your skin. Firms, fills, hydrates, and plumps. That's why everyone loves it, that loves the skin results. But in the joints, it lubricates. So we call it like the nature's WD-40 for your joints. It's kind of like you're getting that injection in there into the joints to help keep you lubricated. Chondroitin, all right, essential part of cartilage, okay, gets it in there. But these are things that are, again, going back to absorption. That's a big issue. Having it down to the right size to where it can be absorbed is what yields the clinical results, which is what allows it to be used in the Health Canada system, what Jen said, okay, in Canada to treat an illness, which is almost unheard of, okay? We keep things in a wellness perspective here in the United States. That is very powerful. Can't find any collagen like that in the world, folks. You can't, okay? One only can do that. One only can make any of these claims with the proven elevate those HA levels 6,000%. I'll just get a couple other points here, Jen. I just want to talk about these gags that we talked about, ground substances, but the keratins helping with the hair bonds, the hair growth, like 99% of your hair is keratin. Here's another one, elastins. Anyone heard of elastins before? Okay. Is that the same as collagen? No, kind of functions like it, but they're different. Okay. You don't get that from the other things. You don't get that from other collagens. Okay. They're 2 separate things, not the same. Heavily found in the dermis layer, you guys. Heavily found in the dermis layer, these elastins. Heavily found in cartilage. Acts like a rubber band, just like collagen does. Collagen, really stronger. Tensile strength of steel when you look at it at the same amount, the same quantity. It's so strong. But elastins, we got to have that stuff. Why would you cheat yourself out of your body not getting these things when your body needs these things? These are critical things to have in there. The dermatans, last thing I'll just say on there, they help with inflammation. It's got derm as the root word. So of course it's important in the skin. Guys, this is the important of these gags, this category, is getting all this stuff in there. And why does it happen? Because this is a matrix molecule. It's sourced from a unique place in nature that has all these things. And it's unique so that you just can't get it anywhere. You can't get it from the cheap stuff. You can't get it from the cows. You can't get it from the porcine, the pig source, the shellfish, the skins of fish, things like that. You can't get that. You can get parts. Or do you want the whole?